Hello everyone, here are some floral designs I've made and today we're going to be making a rose floral wreath. If you want to make these, I think you need to watch the video ahead. So let's start. What you're going to be needing is a black pen, an eraser, a white pencil if you need it, and a normal graphite pencil. So I'm not going to be using the white pencil, but you can use it to correct your mistakes. The black pen I'm using is a 0.7 mm and the drawing sheet I'm going to be using is a normal thick watercolor paper. So first let's start by sketching out the basic flowers and leaves. As is a rose wreath, we're going to start with a rose. I'm going to be drawing the center and then these very curvy zigzag type of lines, and this is going to show that there are layers and layers of petals. I zoomed in there so you can see better. All you need to do is build up the layers of petals around the center. Let's try doing another one. As you can see, I'm just doing these kind of scraggly lines. So this wreath is not only going to be having roses, but for the second flower we're going to be doing a kind of a daisy. Not exactly, but a kind of. So let's start by drawing the center. And now we're going to draw these not exactly perfect petals, but these ragged petals, so it will look more natural. If you want, you can draw a guide circle, and the front leaves need to be shorter so they can show a little bit of depth. We're going to start by adding these lines, and this makes it look more realistic. Again, I'm going to be drawing a guide circle, and now I'm going to be placing the center a little down. As I said, the petals need to be short at the front, so it looks like the flower is turning towards you. Let's do the line shading. And you can do this much better with the black pen. I'm going to just start stippling. And this makes it look really realistic. What you also need to take care is not draw these straight lines, but sort of zigzag and sort of curved. So here I've drawn this circle for the wreath. It can also be an oval if you like, and here's the black pen with a 0.77 nib. Let's start by drawing the roses. I'm going to place one rose here. So you want to draw the center like a little heart shape and then build the petals around the center. I've completed the rose. And we're going to be doing it around the paper, around the wreath, wherever you feel it is appropriate. I'm going to be drawing a little smaller one right beside it. You can darken the center because in a rose there is this bunch of leaves. Here's how it looks on the wreath. I'm going to be doing it wherever I feel that it should be there. So let's do one there. You want to be careful not to place them too symmetrically or it won't look natural. If you want your rose to have a little bit more 3D or realism, then you can draw a guide circle and you can place the center of the rose a little up, a little down, wherever you like. As you could see, I'm just building the petals around the center. And if you like, you can just add a tiny bit of stippling, and I'm going to draw the center of this rose. And now I'm going to be drawing these guide circles all around the wreath to show where I'm going to place my roses. As I said before, it should not be too symmetrical, it should not have a pattern. I'm going to be placing a few buds, few rose buds over here. Maybe one big rose there. This is honestly up to you. So I've completed my roses. The wreath is finally taking shape now. And I'm going to show you how I drew the rose buds. All you need to do is draw a leaf kind of a shape and just color in the bottom, and then you can draw the rose petals. Also, if you want to make a more open rose, you can make a big floppy petals which will make it look more open. So now we're going to start with our second flower. You want to start by making the center. Let me zoom in there. And then now I didn't do the rounded petals like we practiced, but I did these more leaf-like, and you don't want to make the petals the same size or the exact same shape. Now it doesn't look as realistic, but we're going to start by adding depth to the center of the flower by line shading. And you want to darken the center so that it stands out. And now at the top of the petal, you want to start by making just a few 4 or 5 lines, and then maybe you want to add a line at the center. This adds shadows, and now it really looks realistic. I'm going to do more of these flowers and show you now. So I've made all the flowers and also added the stems which give the wreath a more shape. Now we're going to start by making the leaves of the flowers. I'm going to draw a very big, and it's just hiding behind the flower, and I'm going to make thin lines all across the leaf. This really gives it texture and depth, and overall adds realism to the entire flower. I'm going to show you one more. Just like that, I've added the lines. So I did all the leaves here, as you can see. And now we're going to be doing a few space fillers because the wreath has its share of flowers now. So this is a type of a lavender or a leaf, and it's just going in the direction it wants to. It's not following the line of the wreath. I think that's what makes it so natural. So as you can see, I've started drawing the other stalk, and it doesn't need to have the perfect two set of leaves or whatever you can call it. I'm going to be doing all the lavender and showing you the wreath now. So there, it's all done. Now I think the wreath looks pretty good, but I like it to be a little bit more fuller. You can leave it like this if you like. I think I'm going to add a few stray leaves. So I went ahead and looked at it, and I think it needs a couple more roses. I've finished the rose, and now I'm going to add another space filler, which is a normal berry. You can see me drawing it there, and this too doesn't need to be symmetrical, doesn't need to follow a pattern. You can probably even add a stippling effect there. Now I'm going to look back at the roses, and I think it needs a little bit of line shading. So where the petals meet each other, they cast a shadow on each other. So that's what the line shading is going to be representing. Now I'm going to be doing one of these more stiffer and cartoon-like space fillers, but it still looks pretty good. It's basically a series of loops that goes through each other. It kind of looks like a lotus. I'm adding those all along the wreath, but I think the wreath is getting thinner. And I'm also going to be adding a few petals, few rose petals along the way, probably a few berries. And as I mentioned before, around the berries I like to do a little bit of stippling, dotting, and it really suits the berries. You can add space fillers, but I like these ones because they really go with my rose wreath. Here are the rose petals I mentioned. All I'm doing is drawing a shape and just adding a little bit of color at the bottom. So now I think the wreath is complete. It looks pretty good. You can even do some hand lettering in the middle, and yes, you can see me showing the details there. I think it looks pretty good. Here are some other ideas for wreaths. Here's another one I did. So thank you for watching. Bye.